Ooh.
Hello, everyone, and welcome back to Disqualified.
Forgot it's technically a PLE, so he opens.
I am one of your hosts, Caleb. I am your main roster predictions champion. First two-time. That is Beltless Trevin.
I had the longest streak with it.
And our producer behind the camera is Zach, who is our NXT predictions champion.
Who he defends as of recording tomorrow.
And as of release, today.
Yeah!
So, Saturday night's main event.
Happened.
Yeah.
First, some SmackDown highlights.
Yeah, because for the first time ever, SmackDown was more interesting than a PLE.
Yeah. To be fair, Saturday night main event is a special, not an official PLE, as it still has commercials during the matches. But talking about SmackDown is going to fill a bad time for
how little actually happened on Saturday night's main event.
Yes.
There, in my opinion, for Saturday night's main event, 1 for 5 in good matches. 1 for 5.
Spoiler alert, how many matches are going to get more than 2 stars for you?
You said more than 2?
Yeah.
Probably 3.
Okay.
So it's not bad. There is one that I will say right now
Is a 1 star.
is a 1 star because I don't believe in giving no stars.
Yes.
Because you're going
people
out
showed
there,
up.
you're putting your life on the line.
Yeah.
You're putting your body on the line. So yeah, it's worthy of a star itself.
Yeah.
Plus, I also like gears, and that plays a part into my rankings, not his necessarily.
Yeah.
Our rankings for stars are different.
Yes. I care about the action and storytelling.
I care about the action. I care about the storytelling, but I also care about gear because I think gear plays a cohesive part, especially if you're a tag team. There was matching gear for both tag teams in one of the matches, but I just like the gear on one of the teams because we'll talk about it later.
Speaking of tag teams, one of your SmackDown highlights is in your main event, the Wyatts returned.
Yeah.
Finally.
Yeah, so I believe it was Bo Dallas that got cleared. I believe it was like a shoulder thing, maybe a pec thing. But they're back. They are back. They returned on Bray's birthday in
Had a little
the main event.
Yep, had a little cake for him and everything.
It's funny at the end because it was the end of the show. I was watching. You could hear the producers go, "Go, go, 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 go!" Like, get the spot out now because we're cutting soon. But yeah, they interrupted the main event match, which was the WWE Tag Team Championship match between the Street Profits, your champions, and Fraxium.
Yep. The Wyatts weren't the only one who interrupted, as the first interruption was DIY with newly returned Candice LeRae helping them out.
Yeah, so that's pretty cool.
Yep.
Candice LeRae is now back on our screen.
Yep. DIY was stopped in their interruption by Motor City Machine Guns, however, which led to a 4-team brawl that broke into the ring. Then the lights went out and Wyatts returned.
In the Wyatts wrecked house, kicking out everyone.
Yep, and notably for anyone who is big on the story of what the Wyatts and specifically the Mandible Claw does to a person, the Mandible Claw was delivered to none other than Nathan Frazier.
Mm-hmm.
So suspect some character changes with him in the future if they keep that continuity.
Also, the person to eat the Sister Abigail was Johnny Gargano.
Yep.
So, if there's other repercussions coming out of this, I believe he will be involved.
Yep.
Because I could see him and Candice going their own way, separating from Tommaso. Because when it comes to the story of DIY, Johnny is more of the face and Ciampa is the tweener.
Yeah.
He can play a good face, but he's a better heel.
Yes.
I think Gargano's a better face than he is a heel.
Yes. Even in the heel turn of DIY that we have seen recently, Gargano has much more played to his tweener attitudes.
Because he's better being a comedic heel. If you want like great Johnny Gargano heel, go to I believe it was his North American run with the Way down in NXT. He was a heel,
Mm-hmm.
and he was comedic gold. His little feud with Karrion Kross, and the skit with Scarlett, him and Austin Theory backstage was hilarious. There was the Dexter Lumis wedding, the Index wedding that happened, which was rarely one of the first, or not one of the first, but one of the few marriages or wedding ceremonies that went off without a hitch in WWE history. So, yeah, but in other news,
Yep, your qualifiers during this episode of SmackDown for Money in the Bank. On the female side, we have Julia not only winning her debut match, but also qualifying for an important PLE match, pinning your U.S. champion Zelina Vega.
which I think is stupid. Why
Well,
have the champion in
Yeah,
there
while
just to get
taking
pinned?
taking out the big name of Charlotte Flair also.
Mm-hmm.
And then on the men's side, we have LA Knight
Yeah.
going over against Aleister Black and Shinsuke Nakamura, stealing the pin from Aleister after Aleister hit a black mass. And that pissed Aleister off, if you could not tell.
Yeah, so it is LA Knights winning men's. I think that's I think that's a pretty safe bet right now. It's his third year in a row being in the match.
Yeah.
He's winning it this year more than likely. Then you have Julia. I think Julia's fast track to win it. I think she's going to be the one to maybe take it off of Tiffany, if not the person to take it off of the person who took it off of Tiffany.
Yeah, but yes, and your final SmackDown qualifiers were also announced, with the women's triple threat being between Naomi, Jade Cargill, and Nia Jax.
Which is a great match.
Yep.
So they explained their interconnected triple threat rivalry, how each one is mad at the other, how each one has pissed the other one off. This is going to be a great match.
We're getting it for free.
Wins. Yeah, I think Naomi wins.
Yeah.
And then for the men's, you have Carmelo Hayes, Andrade,
and Jacob Fatu.
Carmelo Hayes.
Yeah. It's obvious.
I see Carmelo Hayes going over because I see maybe the little breakup between JC and Jacob.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe.
Yeah. Also, Miz will also be ringside as confirmed by him.
Yep, and that will probably also distract Jacob from the match.
Yep.
So
Andrade's eating that pin, though.
yeah, unfortunately. But that is
Your SmackDown highlights into the chunk of this episode, which is the trash pile that was this episode of Saturday Night's Main Event.
I could have been playing Expedition 33. I could have been playing Baldur's Gate 3.
Thi-
I could have been finishing my playthrough of The Last of Us Part 2. I could have been
I don't
watching
know.
any movie that I've wanted to.
WWE 3 strikes and you're out. This, the return of Saturday Night Main Event was kind of cool. You crowned your inaugural Women's US Champion. You had the whole spot of Kevin stealing the Golden Eagle, which led to a whole trilogy. It's like the re-premiere gave us hope. But it was still not a lot happened on that one besides the inaugural.
Yeah.
And then the second one came out, and we came in with being let's see with less championship scuffle what they do.
Mm-hmm.
And the answer was absolutely nothing.
Yeah.
And now this one, you had 3 title defenses, and how the heck are title defenses lower than 3 stars? How is the match of the night not one of the title defenses?
Oh, there wasn't 3 title defenses.
Right.
Seeing the Truth was non-title. It was exhibition.
Correct. Which is another thing.
We'll get to See the Truth.
Yes.
But first, we're going to get to the tag match that we were talking about. So, 1 star. You can hate it or not. The matching gear for Sammy and Punk was dope. And for Braun and Seth, I hate black on black gear, especially when wording, because if you're gonna put wording on your gear,
Make it visible.
make it visible. I think that's just like
Yes.
a common courtesy.
Yes. But this match was plagued with commercial breaks.
Oh, not just this match. This whole event was played with commercial breaks.
Literally,
12 minutes into the event, commercial break.
not even.
We got back from that. Not even 5 minutes, commercial break.
Yep, it's like we want to see the action. And speaking of action, there was a weird camera angle for the final climactic spot of this match where we see someone drive CM Punk through the barricade, and it's none other than a returning Bronson Reed.
And it's so funny because maybe they really wanted it to look like that, but it looked like they got the wrong angle. So you could see Bronson walk into frame. Maybe that was the plan. But yeah, Bronson Reed has aligned himself.
With Seth and Braun.
Why are Braun Breaker and Bronson Reed in the same group?
Yes, and commentary did point out how before Bronson Reed was out on injury, he had beef with Seth. But apparently that's behind him. Water under the bridge. Speaking of water under the bridge, tsunami to CM Punk to write him off, as after Money in the Bank, the next PLE is a Saudi show, so you gotta get him off screen to explain why he's not there.
Now, I think we'll have a little series of matches, maybe between Bronson and Punk. But other than that, this is not going to be a PLE thing because they're going to Saudi soon, and Punk is not going to be on a Saudi show.
Nope.
Especially not after tonight with the Palestine gear.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. Yes. Yeah.
But it looked dope. It looked dope.
Yeah. This show is also coming on the same night they made the relocation announcements.
Yeah, so for those who didn't know, because I don't think we've actually had the chance to talk about this on a video yet.
Nope.
WrestleMania 42 is back in Las Vegas.
But what's New Orleans gonna get?
Money in the Bank. They're gonna get Mania at a later date,
Yep.
but Money in the Bank is happening August 26th, 2026.
Which, for those who are looking at their calendar, it means this will be probably one of the first Money in the Banks that take place after SummerSlam. You know, the PLE most famous for cash-in spots.
Triple H just looked dead.
He's like, I don't want to do this, but I have to.
So with New Orleans being pulled for next year's Mania, it makes Rock's initial plan for him and Roman out the window fail. His plan to turn Cody heel fail. And his announcement for Mania at New Orleans fail.
Yeah.
You're betting 0 for 3, Dwayne.
Yeah. I run into a lot of wrestling TikTok, and there's this trend going around of what's your biggest wrestling hot take. Like, I'm not talking about like this both parties knew about the screw job. I'm talking real deep stuff. And a lot of people are like, The Rock's trying to sabotage Triple H's booking career. And it's like these moments kind of make me think they kind of right. It's just Triple H and The Rock going at each other's throats to see who can book what.
They've never liked each other. Like, their rivalry is not just like a screen thing. It's like they very much don't like each other.
No,
and now they're business partners, and they very much don't like each other.
Yeah, The Rock covered it in his little sort of narrative biography, Young Rock. Like The Rock, Shawn Michaels, and Triple H. Like The Rock doesn't get along with those two. Shawn Michaels can vibe with anyone, but
the only reason why Rock is involved in TKO, granted, he made his start in wrestling. It's because he's friends with Ari Emanuel, who is the owner of the UFC, and that's why. That's why Rock is in the position of power. That's exactly.
But
why.
it's like the sabotage is coming from inside.
Yeah, it's coming from inside. Granted, the sabotage for the booking of the shows
is solely on Triple H.
And this show, oh my god.
Yeah.
It was so bad. So this is the end of Braun, Seth, Punk, Sammy.
On to the second show where
no. We got to rate.
Oh yeah.
2. Maybe 2.5.
The action
0.5 for the gear. I've changed my mind. 0.5 for gear for star rating. Because we don't really do points.
One. I don't know what you're talking about. 1.5 because the action we could see was good. If it weren't for the commercials interrupting it every 2 minutes.
You know what? 2 stars. You're right. Minus 0.5 for commercial.
How many commercial breaks this match had?
My star system is very loose. His star system is very strict.
Yes, but we talk about bum A camera angles in the last match. Speaking of bum A camera angles,
what the fuck was this, man? What the fuck was this?
We have the match that was made nigh 24 hours before the card was supposed to start. Zelina Vega defending her championship for her 5th match in this feud against Chelsea Green.
They said last night, it's a full month, first of all. Yes, they're not lying. February was the month. You know, my birth month, because they only had 28 fucking days. Tonight was her 29th, so leap year, so it still counts as a full month. Look at that. Yeah, no, it's not even 30 fucking days, fam. Like,
yeah,
cool. Congratulations.
Yeah,
this is your first defense.
Yeah, Zelina coming out in All Might gear, which is cool for you, for us anime nerds out.
Not cool for everyone else because her and Chelsea had basically matching gear.
Yeah, and they decided the main camera angle was going to be a following shot with the cameraman working overtime, working for his paycheck.
Literally. So usually hard cam is where if we're looking at a ring, ramp is right here. Ramp is right here. Right, I'll use this better. Ramp is right here.
Mm-hmm.
Ring is right here. Hard cam is placed right here, so you're looking at what's happening here.
They decided for the...
It's going to be here instead.
Yeah, they decided for the first,
minute? 2?
Yes. Of this, what felt like 5-minute match.
They'd even get 5 minutes.
No. The ramp cam was the angle. That cameraman was trying to get his paycheck.
You know, I don't really want to fault all the botches on the performers. I want to fault it solely based on they were very much rushed for time. This was the shortest match on the card. Not coincidentally, it also being the only women's match on the card and the latest edition because people online were complaining.
Yes, how no women were being repped on this card.
So they said, here, down. Stop. There.
Book
Shit.
better!
Do your fucking job.
We wouldn't complain if you did it!
Look, if you guys ever just wanted to hear a shit on WWE, now's the time.
Yep.
This is the time.
Yep.
Like, this is the worst show I have ever seen. Like I said, I'm not going to fault the performers for this mistake. But Zelina, unfortunately, performed one of the worst 619s I have ever seen in my life.
Twice.
And somehow busted Chelsea's nose open, unless it was a blood capsule. I don't know. But it was bad.
Yeah, but Top Rope Code Red to end this 1 star of a match for the 1, 2, 3. And
1 star.
Yep, Zelina retains.
Now, if you add up 49, you'll get the amount of stars that represent what this belt is representing, which is the U.S. I don't know. I don't. You know, that I put more thought into that sentence than they put into that match, and it was still probably equally as bad. So don't take my advice on how to book matches, but also book these matches way fucking better.
This might be, with our attitude towards the past 2 Saturday Night Main Event, this might be our last Saturday Night Main Event review.
We're going to decide this
very soon.
Very soon if we're actually going to continue to
review these.
Honestly, what we do for SmackDowns, for PLEs, is what we might do for Saturday Night Main Events.
Where we
might
highlight...
just tack them onto Raw.
Yes. Because, my gosh, we do not want to put you through 40 minutes of us ranting every time there's one of these.
Yeah. So, moving on to the match that should have been for the championship, but they're
and
pussies.
Should have been the main event.
John Cena versus R-Truth. John Cena comes out in the creamsicle-inspired Tampa Bay Buccaneers colors, which, oh my god, I love those colors. I am a big sports uniforms fan. I kind of love when some teams do stuff outside their
normal scheme.
It looks dope, especially with the Buccaneers creamsicle outfits. Very classical. And Cena comes out with that. And Truth comes out in Cena gear.
Yep.
With Cena song. And
eats a clothesline from him before he can even enter the ring.
We just get like a 6-7 minute brawl of R-Truth with some R-Truth offense mixed in.
It was all Cena all the way.
Cena was gonna go for the title hit.
Yep.
R-Truth saw him and Cena was like, no, he gave up the title.
Yep.
Low blow.
Yep.
Attitude adjustment, 1, 2, 3.
Yeah. And then backstage, Cena meets up with Jay, because this is important for how the main event ends. He's like, look, we're both world champs, but let's look deep into the future of, when my clock strikes 0, I'm going to have this belt around me while I'm leaving. And you, tonight, are going to lose it to a YouTuber. Now that sounds like a nice way to ruin wrestling.
Yep. You know what? I maybe lied. 1.5 stars. There might be only 2 matches that get over 2 stars.
Yeah.
Because I'm counting over 2. I'm counting that as 2 or over stars.
Yeah. I'll say 1.5 because it was basically just a backstage brawl in the ring where Cena just annihilated R-Truth.
Yeah, I really wish that they would have let R-Truth actually get unleashed here.
Yes,
because he
especially after his promo on Friday too. It's like we thought you would at least get a punch in.
Yeah, the most he did was pretty much like throw him around, and that was pretty much it. Next we get
match of the night.
Undoubtedly.
Yep.
Funnily enough, the match I was least looking forward to, other than what happened to be the main event. Damian Priest versus Drew McIntyre.
In a steel cage.
Oh, it saved the whole night. Not the whole night, but it saved my viewing experience.
Yes.
At least there was one thing I enjoyed about this card. Because trust me, if there's nothing I enjoyed about this card, we wouldn't be talking about this.
No.
Because I would just refuse.
Yeah. He's done it for shows before.
Where I'm like,
Plentiful of SmackDown episodes were skipped reviewed because of how trash they were.
it's like, bro, there's nothing positive to say. I am a firm believer in, like, don't just put out like a negative thing. There's one positive to everything. Everything has a silver lining.
Yes.
Everything does.
And
But some of these shows just don't, and I don't have the energy to sit here and try to act like there was something cool, something happened.
Yeah.
I don't want to phone it in. This literally was the only good thing.
yes.
Like,
We
this is a 3-star match.
yes.
Maybe 4.
Our original plan was to just cover Saturday Night Main Event, but then Saturday Night Main Event happened, and we're like, we gotta add SmackDown highlights because that show was.
It was so ass. It was so, and like, I fear
This is
where
just
worlds collide because it's on YouTube. So the cool thing about YouTube is, if you are like me and you can afford to do it, not saying everyone can, I have YouTube Premium.
no ads.
I'm not going to get ads. Even in the live stream, I'm not going to get ads.
Yep. For those who have not subscribed to Premium, for lives, ads happen randomly. The streamer does not get to select when the ads happen.
Yeah, so I just kind of fear it's going to be a lower quality card because it's going to be on YouTube. I fear. I'm not saying that things can't happen on major things. For the first couple years, AEW pay-per-views you could watch on BR Live, which is Bleacher Report. You can watch on Bleacher Report Live. And that was cool. And AEW cards have always been
Yes.
good.
Now AEW is WWE's #1 competitor.
Straight up. One of these days, we might just cover an AEW pay-per-view. We might. Just because some of this, I don't want to talk about. I want to talk about something else. Maybe just one off.
Let's talk about a man burning someone's childhood home down.
We can talk about anything.
Yeah.
But
Priest and Drew saved the night.
It was a good match.
Yes,
It started off weird.
Yes, Drew entered first with his entrance, then Damian entered, and he was making his way in before Drew decked Priest, walked out of the cage, got 2 chairs, chucked him in the ring, after chucking Priest in the ring, and shut the door for the match to officially start. Those chairs will be important later.
Yeah. And then big highlights of the match, we see a basically superplex from the top rope to Damian Priest from Drew McIntyre, and the biggest spot, which is the ending spot, or where the 2 chairs come into play. So I believe it was Damian that set up the chair in the corner.
Yes.
And then that got turned on him where Drew was going to Claymore Priest into the chair, and Priest ducked. Drew kicked the chair, which hurt his knee. I don't understand.
I think the physics of it was just impact shock of, because that's the thing is you see it when someone like neck breakers a chair while someone's holding is that just the vibrations make your muscle get weird.
Okay.
So it could have been like he kicked it, impact frames on the ankle going all the way down the calf.
Okay, I can kind of see it. I can kind of see that. But we get this out of heaven, and then we get a throw down. So Priest is holding the chair up to Drew's neck and slams the chair down onto the mat, causing the chair to go into Drew's neck.
Which is reportedly already injured.
Yeah, and then we get a concerto, which
they did not cut away
If
from.
you don't know what a concerto is, it's where someone's face is laying down on a chair. Someone grabs a chair and slams it on their head, causing, chair sandwich.
Which hurts.
They usually cut away from it.
So they can finagle the camera angles.
And they didn't, which genuinely made it better.
Yeah.
I think in some instances, the cutaway is better. But I feel like that's for people that have a history of neck issues. It's better because they're not actually going to connect.
Yes.
I don't think he connected with Drew. But he doesn't have a long history of not saying that they could play with his neck, but they shouldn't.
Yes. But yeah, with how this match ended and with Drew's Hell in the Cell, he is growing into a very good hardcore match wrestler.
Yes, and I think we see Drew take some time off after this. He's taking another break. He'll probably be back around Survivor Series. Or no, not Survivor Series. He'll probably be back around SummerSlam. I'm like, he's not going to take that long off.
No, yeah. Maybe Night of Champions at the... Wait, no. Night of Champions... it is after... No, it's before SummerSlam.
Yeah, and now we get an announcement on what is happening. So you said Night of Champions.
Yes.
That got announced. And what got announced the next day?
So... Night of Champions is the last weekend of June.
Mm-hmm.
And then the second weekend of July is a takeover weekend with another Saturday night main event happening on Saturday. And then the second ever WWE Evolution PLE happening that Sunday.
Yep. So Evolution is the all women's card. So this is very much a makeup for, sorry, you have to compete on Saudi, or sorry, you're not competing on Saudi.
Rumble in Saudi, figure out your gears. Here's an all-woman PLE.
Next year. So if you don't know the Saudi deal, that was signed in 2017. It is a 10-year deal that shows 2 shows per year in Saudi Arabia. Now, we are coming up on the tail end of that. It is finishing up in 2017 or in 2027. Starting in 2017, sorry. Yeah. So we're only getting 1 Saudi Arabia show this year.
In 2025, which means they're making up for it with 3 in 2026. One of those 3 is already confirmed to be the very famous Royal Rumble.
I'm assuming one of the others is going to be Crown Jewel, and the other is going to be King and Queen of the Ring. That's my thoughts. Maybe Night of Champions again. And then 2027, supposedly, we'll be getting 2, and I'm fearing that one of those is Mania.
Because with it being its contract year and Saudi foaming at the mouth to try to get a Rumble in there, they're going to use that contract power to be like, bring Mania here.
I can only hope they do 2 international shows, where one happens in Saudi and one happens somewhere like London. I can only hope that's the case. But who knows? Next, we should rate this match. I've already revealed mine. It's 30.
I'll give it a 3-2.
Next, our main event. Funnily enough, this man that's in the main event, and his nickname is Main Event, can only main event Raw and TV specials that suck. Jey Uso defends his World Heavyweight Championship against Logan Paul and Trevin. That's as much as I'll say about this feud. You take it away. I'll sit here and sip water.
Well, you're going to be sipping for not a long time because this match, it ends with Cena coming out to try to cause what he teased at backstage, but fails as a returning enemy of Cena, Cody Rhodes, comes to make the save, taking out Cena to make sure the match can continue, and Jey hits his classic spear Uso splash, which for some reason commentary kept confusing it with a frog splash. Does not look similar, but they probably wanted to leave too, much like we did. But spear Uso splash for the 1, 2, 3. Jey retains, and Cody with the mic announces that him and Jey will take on John and Logan in a tag match at Money in the Bank, with rumors being that a third man will be added to both sides before Money in the Bank. Ugh.
Almost got through all my water bottles. Yeah, so the third man for each side is supposedly going to be Travis Scott and Jimmy Uso. Oh my God, we're getting closer to Logan Paul versus Mr. Beast. We honestly might start switching. We might do Raw and SmackDown as one episode, NXT as its own episode, and then maybe AEW as another episode, because I do not want to just keep talking about this shit ass company, man. This company sucks right now.
AEW doesn't do much better if you look at it.
It's the Death Riders. The Death Riders is a big part of the badness, and we have to get through that. But I don't know. Maybe TNA. I don't. This was so bad. It's a 1-star match. It's a 1-star match. The ending was bad. It was rushed. It was so rushed. So Jey Uso makes his entrance. Cut off by commercial.
Commercial. Logan makes his entrance. Match happens. There's one commercial during the match, but then we don't get back till there is 4 minutes left in the show, basically, and we're like, match gotta end. 1 minute passes. Cena comes in.
I am rating this entire show maybe a 2. Maybe a 2. Maybe 1.75.
I will give it a 2 solely for that Priest-Drew match.
Mm-hmm.
Because they do not deserve to be... That match does not deserve to be on an overall 1-star card. But this card was dang close.
And it's... I think the thing is, these are usually 4-match cards.
Yes.
That 5th match of Zelina and Chelsea really fumbled everything up. Not saying that they didn't deserve to be on here, because a women's match should always be on a card.
Yes.
They worked so fucking hard, as much as the men do, but they work so fucking hard. They should be represented on the card at least once. They do it on mostly every fucking UFC card. They do it on mostly every fucking boxing card. Like, there's always a female representative.
Even the...
You could have gotten rid of Braun and Sammy and Punk. Granted, it was the only other good match on this card.
Could have happened on Raw.
It could have happened on Raw.
Should have happened on Raw.
Like, this was just a bad card.
Yeah. But speaking of other matches, speaking of other like combat sport cards, the very famous charity YouTuber boxing tournament.
Creator Clash.
Yeah, Creator Clash is a 50-50 split.
Mm-hmm.
How are a bunch of YouTubers booking a better card than a company that's been doing it for 40 plus years?
We might start watching TNA. Except TNA just got rid of the throat slit gesture.
What's happening to wrestling, man?
You know what? We might start watching old school shit. I might just start watching the old school shit again.
We'll watch the old school stuff. And then
You know what? In honor of Bray, let's just binge all of
Act
Bray's
like it's
stuff and
current.
post it.
watch the old stuff.
We
act
can
like
do
it's
that for
current.
Halloween.
Oh yeah.
No, I'm not going to do a spoopy month of Bray stuff.
Yeah.
That'll be an extra video for you guys in October.
Yes.
But that's it for us here at Disqualified. This show sucked so much ass.
That's probably the title of the video.
Yes. I have been, or I am, your main roster predictions champion. Two-time, because this was not on the line. But, wait, real quick. Sorry. Trevin,
Yeah.
first of all, talk about Battleground, and then plug your other channel.
Oh yes. If you want a more positive note in terms of this entire
Sorry.
episode. Yeah. Battleground, remember, is happening at time of recording tomorrow, which means the review is also probably releasing the day after you see this. Battleground is looking like a lot better of a card. I pray it is. And what Caleb mentioned after he mentioned Battleground is our TTRPG podcast where we're a lot more positive, at least I am. These guys are sometimes screaming their heads off panicking.
Same shit, different day.
Yep. It is our TTRPG podcast, Throes of Chaos, where right now I am the DM, storyteller, and host, while all these idiots try to out-idiot me.
You know what? I'm gonna scream it because it applies to both the what happens in our show and what happened with all the other Saturday night main events. Same shit, different day!
If you want to hear him scream that at the end of every episode, tune into the podcast link in the bio and down in the description below.
But yeah, that is Beltless Trevin. That is our producer behind the camera, Zach, who is our NXT Predictions Champion. Remember, his title is on the line as of upload tonight for Battleground. And we will see you next time. Be sure to like, comment, subscribe, ring that bell 3 times so you know the match is over. Thank you for your time, and peace.
Bye!